thank you, Lord. Hello and welcome, my brethren. Hear ye, hear ye. It is I, Razius, and welcome to the special extended broadcast, the LCS. Hot off the presses, we've got Team Liquid and NRG. NRG, those sandbagging devil. They sandbag spring splits for heaven's sakes. And those Team Liquid anarchists, they're looking to continue their reign of dominance. But don't fret, these top 5 players will topple them. Fnatic Bwipo, you may have lost versus G2 earlier today, but you Belgian brute, you will take those down. Rogue inspired, the mastermind, the shot caller, he will continue his reign later today. DDoS Jensen, that's all that needs to be said. Get to work. G2 Sven and OG Mithy. We've got some of the finest European players to ever play the game here as we continue the broadcast in the LCS. Euphoria! This is probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
Jojo, fate sealed back over the wall, and he drags Armeo with him. Now Castle comes over, trying to secure this kill. Nice little bit of a Bard ulti here, locks C9 down.
Look, he's behind me, help me. Look, he's in it. Yeah, come. He's in one HP. He's in flash. Look at me. Yeah, we can go better. They flash in. Look. Flash. They're all in.
Side of the Requiem, it ain't even gonna matter. It's a 2-for-1 trade here at the very start, and they're about to make it 3. Ole goes on a magical journey, but it's a journey straight to the respawn platform. Mortals want to fight. Yeah, Mortals are going in for it. They fire off the Maokai ulti, but they only get Vulcan with it. But now Thanatos and Blabber are also ready to join in. Dawning Shadow over the top. Goodbye, Armeo. Renekton is chopping down the trees.
Go, please. Nice. Okay. Nice. Prime is here now. I can slow maybe. Ahead. Nice. That's a 20 minutes. No flash. He's dead. Don't die. Look at me, guys. Look at me. We have to fight, guys. Coming up. I'm ulting. Zyra, no flash. They're all low. Look, Jatt, no flash. Slowly on Leona. Just hit front first. No flash. Zyra. He's done. Kill it. Go back. Bottom.
Taking damage, that's Dragon doing a lot of damage. Sven flashing away, has the cleanse still, Sven gets it!
What the, they're in thinking.
Licorice taking it up right now, Ayla goes for the big engage. Quid over the side as well, massive combo! Zyra will use very defensively, but it's not gonna be enough. They're in the pit still, Licorice will win his fight on the side. The rest of Dignitas falling apart, Baron doing massive damage! One turret's already fallen and the front line is struggling. Quid stunned up. Ayla's in there. Will get one. Sniper is committing to the split push.
I'm ending the game, guys.
So another ultimate from the Sniper. That double kill. Sniper almost takes Jensen.
He's ending. No! Don't give me like that, bro. Like, I look down.
Jensen flashed over the wall. He repositions, and River fails the flash to follow. Dignitas come up huge in the play.
Oh, it's the big Dignitas Summer indeed.
Wait, Dignitas are playing this, but they still want more. They're going to corral them just like they did before. This time, the whole team's committed. Isles takes so much damage without Leona. W. Jensen jumps over the wall, says, you got no escape, baby. You gotta get through me. Sniper says, Ben, maybe has it. Double kill to Jensen, but that is Dignitas with an A.
Amazing comms from the Dig game. Welcome to Waiting Room. We have Licorice yesterday. For those of you who might not have caught it, Jensen just screaming, he's ending after he stopped the split push.
Yeah, no, we're base racing. It's really tense. He kills Sniper. And then, like, I see Camille disappear off my minimap, and I can just hear Jensen, he's ending! And I'm like, oh my God, no.
What did Camille do? How's she fine? Oh, you guys are actually just the most troll team. That tagged along with the interview that you did with them. What is the environment with the team like?
I mean, I just think, like, at this point, we've gone through so much shared suffering in scrims that, like, we've come through it and, like, bonded from all the suffering we've done together. And we go on stage and everything's all right. So, like, now the vibes are good, you know?
Is it the spectrum of, like, depression right back to elation while you're still losing? Is that what it is like? Do you guys just push past the bad vibes and it's just got funny again? Or what was, like, just talk about the scrim environment for me, because that's the funniest thing that I see about you guys like losing scrims heavily, but then doing well on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think our general like scrim day goes like the first couple games are just like horrible. Like we can't play the game, everything's bad, and then like we slowly pick up throughout the game, and then like I don't know, some days we go 0-6, and like this, but the 6th game is the closest, you know, like we got Soul, we got Baron, we got Elder.
And then one thing happens or something.
But it's just like throughout the day, I feel like we just like entered the zone of like massive, like just like the most coping possible. Like we hit maximum cope like somewhere around game 4, and then the vibes like improve from there. So it's definitely an experience.
Oh my God. Have you ever been on a team that's like that? That has just been like losing scrims, better on stage? Because I feel like that hasn't happened for you. It's probably like a new environment that I feel like for you.
I want to say I've been on teams like that before, but not like this. Like this is like a whole new level of that for sure.
It was funny talking to Mabry yesterday because he kind of echoed the same thing where I was like, so like, how's it going? You guys have rumor for being really awful in scrims? And he was like, yeah, we are. Like, because I asked him and Golden Glue like who was worse because they had the 0-17 streak last split. And they were both just like, oh, it's definitely us.
What would you say is the hardest part about coming back? At least not for just you, but as the team, because you guys have Speaker that's coming back as well. So and of course Ven, who's role swapping as well. So is it just like the early game? Is it like, what would you say is the most difficult part for you guys?
I mean, I would have said like mid game, late game, but like now I feel like because of Grubs, it's like team play starts at 6 minutes, so like 6 minutes onwards.
Yeah.
that's kind of where the struggles begin.
When we start making decisions.
But like up till then, you know, like lanes are generally going pretty well.
Yeah.
People are playing well, but like like that 6 minute timer really gets us.
Guys, I have bad news. It's 6 o'clock.
So apparently we had a world record made in the LCS yesterday. Emily already knows because she was chatting with the stats guy.
I cheated.
Raz and I don't know though.
Yeah.
Do you know
guess?
the world record?
Yeah.
I was told, so
Okay.
it's kind of cheating, but
This is cheating.
I heard it was like I'm gonna imagine it has to do with Sven.
Yes.
And it's the longest gap between winning as an AD carry. That's gonna be my guess.
Ooh, that sounds.
Because that's gonna be like a
right.
2.5 or 3 year gap.
How about the age gap between him and the player that he beats?
No way. Because Double is so
Okay, that's also
in the
true.
day.
All right. Let's see what it is.
God, what?
Oh, it's the smolder stacks. It's got to be the smolder stacks.
Is it actually the smolder stacks?
Maybe. I mean,
He was free.
is
He
it
was
the
free
first time the
stacking.
smolders killed a Senna that early in the game?
He was free stacking on a Scion.
Yeah.
He was free stacking on a Scion.
225
Hey!
Congrats to Sven.
That's actually crazy. I want to shout out to the Scion out there. That was the official punch dummy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, say it. What season is it, Licorice?
Definitely dig season.
Oh my God.
Did he just, is that a thing you guys have been doing behind the scene, or did he just try and coin that on the spot?
It's a thing, but he is actually the person who came up with it because we were talking about hashtags at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And he was like, how about hashtag dig season? And we were like, oh, we actually kind of like that. So
And now he's
it's a thing. And like, you know, every day at scrims, this is Mabry's thing. We huddle up and then someone gives a speech and it's a different person every day.
Yeah.
And at the end, the person who gives the speech asks, what season? And then we yell, dig season. And it's usually, and it's just as bad as it sounds. Usually we're like, oh.
How's the commitment level for dig
Yeah.
season? Like it's like, it's dig season, and then they walk away or just full send.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Now I got to ask you to flame one of your teammates. Who's the worst speech giver? I need to know.
Yeah.
It's always about the commitment, too. You can make a pretty half-assed speech, but you can
According to
commit.
Sven, it's me and the coaches.
No way! No
Wow.
way!
He says I'm too positive.
That's the purpose of a speech.
I want to see the Jensen speech. I hope social media records that one day. Anyway, let's take a look at the standings for LCS through a week and a half of games. It's going to be super interesting to track this throughout because, you know, C9 up at 2-0, Dignitas, you guys at 1-1. And I do want to ask you, like, what is the pressure like in best of threes?
It feels really high, honestly, like because you only play 7 best of threes in the split. Like losing one feels like it has such a big impact on the season. And I was honestly like really nervous coming in yesterday because I feel like starting off 0-2 puts a lot of pressure on us that we like need to win, even to just like make playoffs at that point.
Right. You need to win 3 of your next 5 to go 3-4.
Yeah, and that might be good enough.
Yeah.
Like I don't totally like.
I guess and then 4 of your next 5 if you want to have like a winning record. That's crazy.
like I assume the winning record is good for our playoff shots. So I mean, it is definitely a lot of pressure, which I think is good and bad because I feel like people are really showing up on the day and like doing their best to prepare because like every match means so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel the parity like in the league? Because it feels like a lot of teams, other than maybe, of course, we saw the standings, like some of the lower teams, but it feels like even they can take a game in a series. Like, do you feel the parity in the league? That sounds like a no to me.
Yeah.
That's not
I mean, it's really hard to say like in
you're losing to
scrims.
everyone.
Like the teams that we played on stage, you know, like we had competitive games with C9.
Yeah.
And we like did really well against 100 Thieves, but like in scrims, you know, like I don't know if I'm the person to ask about parity in the
honestly
league.
fair enough. It's the fairest answer of all time.
Currently 50-50 win rate, so perfect
True.
parity as well.
True.
100 Thieves fell to Dignitas yesterday, but they had an incredible first week where the reigning MVP Quid earned our first MasterCard Player of the Week. So let's check out the interview.
Welcome, Quid, and congratulations on your MasterCard Player of the Week for Week 1.
Thank you.
Nice pose you have here. Wait, actually, it looks amazing. What's your thoughts on the statue and the pose?
Someone just say to me, do this pose.
Yeah?
And I just did.
That's fair enough, honestly, and it looks good on you. Question for you, because like last time we did this, it was a standard interview. This time it's going to be a bit of a game. You have 90 seconds. It'll be rapid fire questions, and you can say no if you don't want to answer that, and we'll go to the next question. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yep.
All right, let's go straight into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Who has the bigger biceps, you or Sniper?
Sniper.
Sniper?
Yeah.
Being too humble, buddy. Top 3 mid laners in the LCS.
Jojo.
Mm-hmm.
Jensen.
Okay.
AP. Jojo, AP, Jensen.
Okay. Funniest story from the Korean boot camp that you guys had?
I have no idea.
No idea? I was thinking about Golden Glue picking up ice cream from the ground and eating it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That was a good one. Biggest scrim inter?
Me or Sniper.
Better Yone, you or Sniper?
Obviously me.
There it is. Better Talia, you or River?
I think me.
Better AD carry player, because you've been playing a lot of AD carry mids, you or Meech?
Yeah, Mitch.
Why Ezreal mid?
Because if I play mid Ezreal, it's good for our threat.
Okay. What do you want to be known for by your fans?
Funny player.
Yeah. What champion do you wish gets buffed?
Lucian.
What champs have you inted on the most in solo queue that you just run it down in solo queue with?
Maybe Lucian.
Buff Lucian. Who do you want to beat the most in the LCS?
FlyQuest.
Okay, that's great. That's time, honestly. You got a lot of great questions. And honestly, I appreciated you wanting Lucian buffed the most. Is Lucian the champion that you're most known for? Do you like Lucian the most?
Yeah.
Okay, so make your pitch to the camera for a Lucian buff.
Lucian buff.
You heard the man. Get the Lucian buff. That's from the player of the week himself, the reigning MVP on this one. Congratulations on this one once again, and thank you for doing this interview.
Thank you.
That was a great pitch for the Lucian buff.
straight, simple. He doesn't have to say anymore, honestly.
Interestingly enough, we are seeing some mid Lucian.
That is true.
We just saw it from Chovy last night, but Yukai also played it in LPL, so maybe
That might inspire him.
Quid will bring it out.
I'm
Especially
hoping.
now that Chovy's played it, I feel like everyone's going to play
Yeah,
it.
honestly, that's all you need.
That is usually how it goes.
Guys, I think Lucian mid's looking really good now.
Yeah, really good.
He was pretty good at the rapid fire answers. I've seen a lot of these, and some of they're wishy-washy, and he was decisive.
Exactly, because he just comes to an answer. He's like, if he just says, I don't know, he just says, I don't know. Most players are like, ooh, 10 seconds on this one. It's like, just say you don't know, buddy. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But no, that was great. I love the fact that he's been really pushing himself to like, kind of like into the uncomfortable corner of like pushing to learn English a lot more.
Yeah.
So I really love that. The last interview he did last year, amazing. This one, even better. So hope to see more of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of threes have also been really cool to me. so far. We've only seen 6 of them, but we wanted to have a discussion about what the best part of the best of 3s are. And Licorice, I think you basically just give your opinion on our opinions. For me, like
Be the judge.
I feel like the game 1s have been a little more aggressive. It could just be early season sloppiness, and I could be reading too much into it, but it definitely feels like teams are more willing to take risks or go for outplays in game 1 because it's not just, oh yeah, if this doesn't work, then we will lose to this team no matter what. It's because there's going to be in the back of your head that forgiveness of still being able to win the next 2 games. Do you?
Yeah, no,
feel that at all?
I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, like in this game that they're showing right now, it's like the game was really messed up. Like it was really hard to play.
Yeah.
They were winning both sides. They had Karthus Senna at the same time. So I was like, all right, guys, we're gonna hit Baron. I was like, here we go. Yeah. My team's like, are you sure? I'm like, we're hitting it. And I just think like I feel like I have more agency to make that kind of call in the game because it's like we'll have another chance. So I do think it incentivizes just like make the play and like do it. And so yeah, no, I would totally agree with that.
It's actually so funny. You go straight into it because I have an additional thing on the series that you had because you had a second one that actually adds to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because mine is also from your series. My point is drafts. I really like in best of series how draft itself can become a narrative, right? So this is from NRG 100 Thieves. On the back of it, I believe we're going to see some footage from your match where you guys locked in the Morgana jungle.
Yep.
And I think the drafting in best of 3s is so different. I think because you prepare specifically for a team, you have to prepare multiple looks, and then you have to react to game 1. And I've really liked how teams have been willing to try out new things. I think part of it is the current meta, but I also think part of it is that you get a little bit more leeway in best of 3s than you do best of 1s.
And the point that I wanted to add to that one that related to the draft is even though you guys won game 1, I was like, I hate to be the smolder in this game where you have like Camille, Karthus, Senna, Yone. Like, how can he live? How can he live? I was like, that's insane. So even though you guys won the game, I was like, what's the adaptation going into the next game? Immediate Karthus, Senna bans. I was like, sounds good to me.
Yeah, no, we definitely hit the right bans on that one. But it was so funny in game because Sven like he got the worldwide stack record yesterday. But like in game, he's like, hey guys, I got Shojin soon, but I don't know if it matters. Like, oh my god, like this game is so doomed.
Yeah, I'd never seen a Smolder that fed while his team was that far behind. It almost seemed like an impossibility, but
yeah, no, it was a weird game.
And you probably don't pick that Morgana in a best of 1 almost ever.
No, probably not. I mean, it was really good in the draft, and like Ming was just like he's there. He's like, oh, I think Morgana's really good here, and we're like, yeah, if you want to pick it, because it's like, I mean, game 3's coming, you know?
Yeah.
Nice. Raz, what was your point?
Mine was the fact that you can just prep for one team. So it was something that actually Contractz had mentioned in the pros episode. Of course, the first half being, I think that just being able to adapt between each game definitely gives us more variety for champions. But in the tail end of it, he says that I think that you can use the whole week to prepare for just one team is pretty important buff as well. For me, just like there is a lot of draft elements that you end up seeing where, honestly, against you guys, teams just end up just banning straight AD carries. Like the Kalista, Senna, like they will recognize the strength of the team and they can just prepare the whole week of scrims just to be able to ban for it. So what's your viewpoint of it? Because that seems pretty important to me.
Yeah, I think it's been really nice actually, and I was talking to Jatt about this earlier actually, but I think it's gonna reduce the amount of upsets in the league because I think that like before, like if I was on C9, right, and I'm prepping for I play TL and then I play IMT and I play TL first, so I'm probably gonna spend most of the week prepping for TL.
Yeah.
But now in this new schedule, it's like you're gonna spend the whole week prepping for IMT, and like like the games yesterday didn't look that close, and I think part of that's because they spent the whole week prepping for them. So I do think that it'll probably actually end up being less upsets in the league. That's my take, at least.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting today.
Yeah.
Because we have some potentially disparate matchups in the schedule. So one thing that we do on the lounge is we play bingo.
True.
Because we love it.
But do we win bingo?
But we have to update it because we didn't update it at the end of yesterday. So what we did is we had 2 different bingo cards. Chat voted on the Dragon card or the Baron card. And one of them actually did win. So we apologize that we didn't update this beforehand. But Dragon won.
both.
And
Here
but
it
then
was.
we won!
There was no Nidalee, we had a lane swap, and we got a Ziggs bot lane.
That's incredible.
2 of them are
bot
mine,
line
so I
of-
feel like I win.
I feel like that's how that works.
Lane swap and Ziggs bot. I called the wrong player for Ziggs bot.
Look, at the end of the day, guys, I think we won as a team.
Yeah,
True.
it was a group-
Yeah,
group
exactly.
win.
So it doesn't really matter whose boxes lost and whose boxes won. I will say that the Talia Flex, Sedge, Pick, Jungle, and Ezra.
So wait,
whoever-
you're saying that because none of your boxes got X, because 2 of mine and 2 of Emily's are the X.
No, that part doesn't matter.
Team game, guys.
Team game, exactly. It's a team game. So congratulations, guys. High fives all around.
Yeah, great job, team.
And I can't
Good job.
reach you, so.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. Perfect.
Short
So
arms.
Skarner, as you just saw, Skarner was 100% banned yesterday and probably will be today because I think someone said he was the best champ in the game.
Yeah, someone
Yeah.
said
Best
that.
Champ in the game.
There we go, flowers. But that doesn't stop you from gaining LP. Licorice, you have Skarner tips since you're here.
Yep.
Can you go show us some of the Skarner tips?
Yes.
Ew.
Because,
I'll go.
how much are you even getting to play it in scrims?
Basically not at all. It's like, I try to play it in solo queue a decent amount every day, just in case like
Yeah.
a team decides to
Yeah.
open it. But like, I don't know. This champ, it really does some special things out on the Rift. So
I saw it a lot in LCK last night. Like, it seems to be getting through over there. So let's see why it shouldn't be.
yeah, I'm not sure what the global what the difference is on the global prio versus the North American prio, but like, I don't know. I think the champ is just really strong. So basically, I know Flowers already did his piece on this. I'm gonna look at like basically how do you kill your opponent in lane if you're top lane Skarner. So I think the easiest thing to do is you let them push the wave. Obviously, I don't actually have an opponent here, so I'm using dummies. But you know, they're trying to crash the wave, and then you just kill them.
Oh, jeez.
Wonderful.
The
Excellent.
E buffer is like non-existent. Like, do you
Yeah.
have to press E first, or is it literally just flash E?
No, you just flash E, and then, you know, they're dead.
Wow.
And I love the hitbox on it too because you don't have to be ahead of the person. You just,
And a lot of times too, like if they're not ready for it, you can just like walk up and do it. You know, you don't even need to commit the flash. So that's the first tip. Let them push, put
Yeah.
them in your tower. And then I think like the next thing I'm gonna show, let me see if I can push this wave fast because I think it works better with a wave to demonstrate.
Sure. While you're pushing,
Yes.
what do you think about the Rumble matchup? Because that's the one that I've seen the most people try and like counter it with.
yeah.
Because it seems like the Rumble will at least be good in lane, but then still doesn't have the teamfight presence.
Yeah, I think there's a couple issues with it in my opinion. Like first, Rumble is something you want to pick to like bully really aggressively, but it's really hard to bully Skarner when he's near his tower at
Yeah,
all.
so you can't really pressure that.
And then also, I feel like Skarner just outscales Rumble at like one item. So then you have a scaling tank that's beating Rumble inside lane and in teamfight. So I personally just don't like it. And the second thing, and I think this is something that Riot should really change, is that your E doesn't take tower aggro.
What?
So,
Oh.
you know, I'm winning my lane. I've killed them. Okay, one sec. I need to get the creeps under there.
Yeah.
But I'm winning my lane. I like put him in my tower, so he died. Now he's trying to farm. Oh god.
Come on.
You were burning the target dummy or something.
This is really okay. Anyways, I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna E it. I don't take tower aggro, and then I
Oh,
just trade him over
wow.
here. And like usually you can put him into the wall too. So I think this one really needs
Yeah.
to get changed.
Well, is it because the E isn't doing any damage until the slam?
Yeah, because the E doesn't do any damage, so you
Yeah.
never pick up tower aggro.
So it needs to have a separate tag to apply turret aggro, like a 0 damage stun if those existed.
Yeah, so I actually think in matchups where you can get away with not building Sunfire, it's really good because Sunfire would pull aggro here, but you can just
Right.
do this, and then they also tank your wave. So you're like guaranteed to get a really good trade when you do this.
Oh, God.
All right, and then the final thing I'm gonna show real quick is once you're 6, there's a couple things you can do. So you can do the same thing I showed earlier where you like flash E and then you ult them and then they go this way, and you know, that's a very dead dummy.
dead.
The other thing you can do is if you angle your ult, so you come from either like here or here, then once the suppression ends, you can just E them into the tower and stun them. Because normally if you just ult them like straight on, then it takes too long to like turn your thing that you can't actually stun them.
Right.
I mean, sometimes you can.
Do they have a window to flash while you're doing that if they have it, or can you basically chain it perfectly?
I think you can chain it perfectly, but the problem is I've run into the issue where like I spam E to try to get it off, and then I like cancel my E.
Right, right.
But I think you can flash out of it, but you just like guaranteed get their flash. And
Yeah.
then, you
Those
know.
are really abusive tips. Thank you.
Yeah, so, you know, I can't play it in pro, so go win solo queue and, like, make your opponent cry.
We're popularizing Murthos tactics. That's just what it is.
Wow. Okay, so I think
appreciate
Skarner
that.
will probably stay banned for today.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, as you mentioned, it's when I see it, it doesn't even seem to need to be a head in lane because its team fight, like frontline zoning presence or its ability to dive 80 carries is also just incredibly high.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. It needs a few nerfs, and then we'll see Skarner again.
Yeah.
I think.
Just a few.
It is really weird that we see it in other regions, though. But
yeah, LPL and LCK teams are more eager to, or not eager, but they are more willing to let it through and then play either usually Rumble or Mord into it.
Yeah, and just taking a look at today's matches, FlyQuest versus NRG to start, and then Team Liquid versus Shopify Rebellion. So we've got a few games on the table. I'm interested to see what the predictions as we go later on today, of course, because there may be an upset. It would have to be an upset for both of them.
I mean, one of those teams is going to be 0-2, and as we taled about, then you have to win 4 of your next 5 to even have a winning record. So it's a really big match for both teams. And Emily, you had a lane swap point about these teams.
Oh yeah. So who likes lane swaps? Only me.
You love lane swaps.
This is kind of a broad point. This is a draft point.
You can click. I think I see that.
Yeah, hit the clips and
bring
then
that up. Yep. So I'm just going to roll through this. There's not a lot I'm going to talk through in terms of mechanics, except to highlight the fact that I think it was interesting that we did see FlyQuest going for the lane swap twice, and the most important thing about anything in this is the fact that they have Senna, essentially. So Massu, wow. I always get trolled with the Telestrator. And then this is the level 1 that TL really just should not have taken, in my opinion, just based on team composition. But after this, FlyQuest also end up going into the lane swap. And again, I think the big thing coming out of both of these lane swaps from FlyQuest was, again, the fact that they have Senna, because you can do so much with her in terms of sending her top side to lane with a top laner, leaving your farming either usually Nautilus or Ornn on the bot side. We also saw some adaptations from the Senna yesterday where she would leave her laning partner in bot lane, go mid, kind of do some stuff mid to help the mid laner set the wave or harass the opponent mid laner to give their mid laner a better lane, and then swap up to the top side. And I think it's kind of cool. It's a very cool evolution of something we saw already with Senna lanes at 6 when they would send her top side for grubs and then fast push top turret as well. So I don't think Senna is going to get through this draft, but also this is something to watch out for with FlyQuest specifically, because they seem to be a team that was more than willing to go into a lane swap with the Senna pick. And also something that apparently they'd been doing for a while, because I know when I talked to APA, he said he really had expected the lane swaps coming out of them, even with the turret changes.
Yeah, and I wanted to focus on something on NRG side, and it was specifically just a draft. So I'll make this one quick. And it was just basically how they really drafted around Italy in game 2 versus 100 Thieves. So of course they first picked in Italy, as you can see here. And then when you see Tristana and Leona come through, they really didn't provide any setup towards the Nidalee at all and made it a difficult game. It was something that they had talked about in pros, where, I mean, usually you see this in situations where Nidalee is being picked in 4-5 to make it so that, you know, it's a nice specific matchup in the jungle matchup if you're going up against a Sejuani or a Maokai or something. But in this case, they had first picked the Nidalee and really wanted to concoct a comp around it and then failed to do so. So like, even though we're seeing a lot of problems with NRG at the moment and a lot of them stem into gameplay issues, it does not help when you try and build a strategy and then fail to do so within the draft. So that's just game 2 in their draft, and a lot of people are really talking about them as a team, but I think it really does start from there.
Devil's advocate, speaking of starts, this isn't the first time NRG's start was absolutely hideous.
True?
Yeah. It was actually worse last year. So check it out with this. It's a little small, but you see that 16-0? That was their first game of summer, and we know how that ended. That was a perfect game by EG, who doesn't even exist anymore. And now, in Summer Split, sure, they lost 14-1 in game 2 against 100 Thieves, but who knows how that's going to end?
They might even win Worlds!
Yeah, they're up from here, so don't count them out. With that, let's go to predictions. Because I have a guess.
Because we're all believers here.
What a surprise!
Oh, where the hell's the disc Discord predictions. We can't be the only ones up here with that one.
I'm guessing it's 2-0.
Maybe
for
they believe
NRG.
in
Yeah.
NRG more
No,
than we do.
probably not.
So thank you
Probably
guys.
not, though.
Thank you guys at Discord for voting for NRG.
Yeah. Licorice, thank you for joining us for Winning Room. I know you're going to be casting in a little bit as well, so looking forward to see you there. We're done from the lounge. Let's get into the games.
Hello, I am here with NRG coach ThinkHard and FlyQuest coach NukeDuck before their series. So first of all, starting with you, ThinkHard, you're coming off of kind of a tough loss last week. What did you do to prepare for this match, and what did you take away from your series against 100 Thieves?
Definitely some stage nerves for sure, just trying to meet our expectations still going on. So still focusing on ourselves, taking it day by day, not overcomplicating things. We have players that have played the game for, a long time, right? So like they know what to do. They just have to make sure they take a deep breath on stage and do what they know needs to be done.
And then a similar question to you, because obviously you faced Team Liquid in a really close 1-2 loss. So what were you preparing on for the FlyQuest team?
Yeah, similar for us. We played like below our level, and we also got like exploited by how fast they played compared to like our scrim opponents. So it was kind of a good like reality check, and at the same time like dusting off some nerves. So, but we weren't too worried about losing against TL. So yeah, we just practiced like normal, and now we're ready.
One thing that everyone's kind of been saying in tandem with best of threes is that the ability to prepare for one opponent plus the open meta has allowed for a lot more flexibility. Would you agree with that? And how has your preparation specifically been now that you only have to prepare for one team per week?
We're doing mostly the same, but yeah, you can go a bit deeper, and you also have to think about, if we do really well with this champion, maybe we will they'll ban it the next game, or if we have a counter for some champion, they'll ban it next game. So you need to come in with a bit more depth, I would say. And we also have the option of preparing harder, but at the moment, we don't have much data. So we also didn't scrim NRG yet, so we only have the 2 stage games, so we don't have much to go off of.
And then with you, I know we talked about this last week as well, but kind of getting the team all on the same page, changing your systems going into this split specifically. How has that been going, and are you continuing that post week 1?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a process, so we're getting better at it day by day. We basically restructured everything in terms of our macros, so I expect this week to be better than last, and then the week after to keep building,
And then lastly, for both of you, I'll start with you first, but you're going to get the same question. What is your opposing team's greatest strength?
FlyQuest, playing super greedy.
Maybe their side lane play in mid game, maybe. Yeah, something like that.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me, and back to you guys at the caster desk.
If you guys wanna trash talk, be as good as this guy.
I run this league. I'm just so happy to be here,
The best part of the LCS, the glory that comes with it when you win.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCS Summer 2024 regular split. It's here in week number 2. It's day number 2, and we're kicking things off with FlyQuest versus NRG. I'm Captain Flowers, joined by Kobe with special guest Licorice here for game number 1. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
hell yes. That's what we like to hear. Kobe, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Double hell yes.
How about that? Let's get into it. Right into the draft, too. Thank you, Mark Zimmerman. We're going straight into the games nowadays. Now, Licorice, we've had our eyeball on top lane a lot because there are a lot of OP top lane champions right now. Everyone is used to complaining about Cassante, but also now Skarner has joined that kind of tier.
Yeah, no, it seems like Skarner's just kind of the new Cassante, at least for now. And then I think Rumble is also really strong, and it's something that some teams have been using as an answer into the Skarner, so maybe expect to see a Skarner ban here, or maybe NRG has something exciting prepared.
I also noticed that Team Liquid had multiple Cassiopeia bans versus FlyQuest. So we're definitely having some counter towards the AD mid laners like Tristana and stuff. Some Cassiopeia is going around in scrims, it feels like. Probably in the hands of Quad. It's also one of the champions that he was most known for, so another respect kind of target ban here.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of Quad's best champions. I mean, it's something he was known for in Korean solo queue, and he hit rank 1 in Korea using mainly Cassiopeia, so I think it's just kind of like, it's his comfort champ, and a lot of teams are just banning it away from him.
Well, look at that,
Oh my God! They actually
look at that. Okay, Carter's up.
They're gonna lock it. Yeah, it's fun to do the Kai'Sa hover that Bwipo always does, but you know they're gonna be locking in the Skarner. Remember that in their first series against Team Liquid, it was Bwipo on Skarner that was a huge part of the game that FlyQuest won in that 1-2 loss that they had against TL in week number 1. I talked to Bwipo a little bit about the Skarner later on that day in Twitter DMs, just talking about like his thoughts on the champion, different things. He mentioned how, yeah, if this champion goes through, the game's gonna go about as you would expect, and then it's not going to go through for the rest of the series. NRG are saying, hey, we've got an answer, but I don't really believe most teams when they say that, because Skarner is insane right now.
I have really been loving this particular pairing, though. I was talking about yesterday, the early Senna picks. When you have Senna Ultimate and Karthus Ultimate, you have such long-range access to enemy backline. Yeah. And with everybody picking double AD carry comps, it's like, wow, you have a Senna Ultimate and a Karthus Ultimate that are going to take at least half of the HP of those multiple AD carries that we're mentioning, and there's one of them locked in as the Tristana mid.
Yeah, no, I had some experience with the Senna Karthus yesterday. Yeah. Not very fun. And I will say, like, this is the best way to deal with like these really high prio, really strong champions. It's less about the counter into the champ itself, and it's more like, if you give them Skarner, what are you getting in return? So NRG's saying, if we get the Senna Karthus, we think that our draft will come out better in the end. And I do expect to see something like the Cassante coming through, unless he has some like really special counter pick prepared.
And we see the Leona locked in alongside that Tristana here in the second round for FlyQuest. I like a pick like Leona here because you have the long-range hard engage on two champions that don't really have any sort of a way to get away from a well-placed Solar Flare unless they flash, right? With the Senna and the Karthus. Yes, they've got a really long range, but I like Leona here as an answer to be able to try to pick them off.
Yeah, the hard engage already guaranteed for FlyQuest, but some locked in here for NRG as well, as they're able to pick up the Ornn. We were very used to seeing it paired with the Senna in the bottom lane. I don't know. How do you feel about an Ornn versus a Skarner that doesn't scream like, oh man, crazy? They're definitely going to want to, flex it up there.
Yeah, no, I think I would be very surprised if the Ornn goes top lane here. I mean, you can play it, but you just kind of like lose the whole game. And
yeah,
like,
it's just like,
you're like, I really hope my team carries me this one. So I think like, because they didn't pick Cassante, I really expect he has something kind of more fun prepared, which I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, I mean, NRG, when we remember back to the real big success stories of this team, they were picking double AD melee split pushing solo laners, with Dhokla and Palafox both playing, Yones and Akali's and all kinds of assassin and split push type champions. So maybe they've got some magic left for us here, as they are on red side, so they'll be able to guarantee the final surprise.
Yep, and NRG focusing on that AD carry pool a little bit here, getting rid of the Kai'Sa, one of those AD carries that would love to dive in next to an engaged support like a Leona. Ezreal also going to get banned out, so double marksman focus from NRG in the second half. Meanwhile, FlyQuest trying to protect that Skarner from a couple of the more obnoxious matchups. TF in lane, Skarner just doesn't really interact with him besides throwing the rock. I mean, if you ever try to engage on him, hit him with the E, remember that Skarner's not unstoppable during the Ishtal impact like a Scion ulti or something similar, so TF just throws a gold card, walks away. Not really the greatest time. We'll see if FlyQuest wants to continue to protect that. No, okay, just going to go with the Corki instead. They already locked the Trist for themselves, so making sure that NRG doesn't get the other side of that mid lane handshake that can often happen.
Yeah, and you're looking at all those AD mid laners because they have the Karthus jungle already locked and loaded and showing here. But we'll see, as Palafox looks like he might be the one going first. So, oh, if it's going to be the K'Sante still after all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised they didn't ban it away. I mean, the TF, like, talking about NRG being good at the split push, like, TF top is exactly that. It is, like, the split push top laner right now. But I am really surprised not to see the K'Sante ban. And I'm also surprised not to see the Smolder ban coming out from NRG, because they might go for something else. Ziggs is a really strong champion right now and works well with a lot of the AD mid laners because you just take towers so fast with the Ziggs and the Tristana.
Yeah, and I really like looking at the Ziggs as well, since they haven't necessarily locked in any real AP otherwise, right? Like, yes, Skarner has a little magic damage. Leona's abilities are magic, I guess, but there's no real AP threat on the team up until now. We'll see if this means that they want to move away from an AP jungler, or if they would still like to have that pairing with the AD Tristana mid with the Skarner up there in the top side. Since we saw this for the first time in LCS last week, I have been just absolutely blown away by the clear speed of the Zyra jungle. I would love to see this get locked in. We'll see if that's what it will be. And yes, it will. Inspired. Lock it in Zyra jungle.
All right, Palafaker, what's he got? The genius midfielder for NRG. It's time to bring it back. What can they do? The final surprise here on the last counter pick. I mean, you can't really get too crazy because you're already versus Tristana, and there's not like too many interesting things that you can do. My personal favorite into the Tristana, I really do think the Cassiopeia, more people should play it than just like the Cassiopeia mains. But it's going to be the Yone here. That's kind of spicy, and that's one of the things we talked about NRG having success with in the past.
Yeah, I mean, the Yone is a really strong pick into Tristana, especially when it's paired with the Karthus. It's going to lose lane a little bit, and if like Palafox can do a good job of like not losing a lot early game, then when he gets inside lane and he has the Karthus ult in his back pocket, it's really hard for Tristana to do anything.
Plus, if he joins one of the team fights, you start things off with the Ornn, follow it up with a Fate Seal. There is some big wombo combo engage potential here on the side of NRG. So let me just go ahead and ask you guys now, you know, we've got all 10 champions locked in. Licorice, I'll start with you. Which comp, if you're playing this one, would you prefer to be playing as? Would you rather be the Skarner or the K'Sante here?
Man, it's a really hard question. I like the Skarner better, but I like the rest of NRG's draft better. So I feel really torn.
Yeah, and that's kind of was their goal, right? Give over the Skarner, so then you can start building the super long range, better rest of the style comp here for NRG. I've seen a lot of teams try and pull this like Gen G style off, where we've got the Yone mid, we've got the AP jungle, and we even saw a lot of it already in the LCS too. A couple of teams trying to do this style. I still think the draft itself is amazing. I still think this is a really good style to go for. But like the power of the brute force demolition with the double Yordles with Ziggs plus Tristana.
Yep.
If the enemy team is trying to like split push you and then make use of their globals and stuff, and you just run down and you two-shot towers with Tristana just exploding and then Ziggs just blowing it up, I feel like you can rush through towers so quickly. It's kind of a really good answer if the enemy team is trying to play the whole map.
Yeah, no, and especially with the early grubs coming in. Like, if you get anywhere near 6 grubs on this FlyQuest team, then towers just, like, they just blow up when you look at them. Like, it's really that simple.
You know, getting into this game now as we're waiting on the minions to spawn, I feel like we probably couldn't have asked for 2 higher tempo junglers on either side here. The Karthus and Zyra are both going to be farming at the speed of light, and we'll see which one of them can manage to find the advantage over the other. Zyra, of course, is going to have some stronger gank potential early, considering she does have that hard lockdown. When you look at the lanes themselves, Busio also having a lot of setup if they want to try to make a play down there in the bottom lane. But the same can be said when you're looking at an Ornn and a Senna on the other side. Obviously, both top laners have a lot of potential to incredibly powerfully punish any sort of a wave push. These guys are not going to allow you to get close to the turret.
Yep. Yeah, no, totally. And I don't know. I'm just really excited to see how this game plays out. I think it's really exciting to see that NRG is just like kind of going for it in draft is what it feels like to me, where they're letting through the Skarner and they're just trying to like get the power picks and like play the game their way.
Congrats to FBI on the 300 games there. We'll see if they can make his 300th game a W here, because NRG, there's been so much talk about this team and about it being like NRG Summer once again. Even though they had a pretty rough opening to this 2024 summer. If you remember back to last summer, which is kind of the origins and what they want to channel, you know, the success story of how they got to Worlds and then found success at Worlds. They also did have a slow start in that summer, so the coping mechanism is here to be able to use for NRG. Slow start in summer into qualify for Worlds combo.
3-lane view right now. Bwipo with control over that top side was able to trade the third hit of the Q into Dhokla. That is the one that just does the absolutely massive health ratio damage to the enemy. Very difficult to trade back into that one, even for a champ that's as powerful as K'Sante is. Bwipo's got that control maintained, that priority here over the top lane. You can see, though, Contractz is on the top half of the map, clearing bot to top, while the opposite can be said of Inspired and that jungle Zyra. As Quad just trying to get away from Palafox as he uses the Soul Unbound for those snappy trades. And Bwipo can use the Ishtal's impact to get into a safer spot, go for his recall, go for his first buy. And Huhi and FBI forced back underneath that turret. Huhi down to 300 HP here already. Going to use the Ornn passive to give himself a little bit of extra firepower down here, pick up a Ruby Crystal. But these guys are just waiting for the wave to crash. Problem is, I think Inspired's waiting for the same thing. There was a couple of spells there over the wall. Doesn't get a whole lot of value out of him here at the start.
Yeah, I think they're gonna force this bot dive and probably try to trade 1-for-1, if not 1-for-0.
All right, let's see it. Busio's going to lead the way. Shield of Daybreak to immediately start it off. First blood already. 2-4-0. Beautifully done from the FlyQuest bottom side and jungle combo.
Yeah, that was super clean. Immediately getting the first kill, and then Busio's able to flash out afterwards too. Pick up both of them, stop the farming, and Zyra can get back to another full clear. Just recall. Oh, can't get the recall off. Contractz at least delays it a little bit, but Zyra's just going to recall and then clear from top to bottom again.
Yeah, you know, if I get a double kill on the enemy bottom lane while they're stuck under turret with their minions dying there, I'm fine with losing my recall tempo. I think that's a fair trade. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a while where people talked about like the 7th camp on the map, where you hit your full clear and then you get the extra laner, and that's your 7th camp. And
let's be honest, though, it's usually top laners we're talking about.
But this time he got 8 camps on his first clear, which I think is not as good as it gets.
Feels great.
It's a double camp.
Well, it's actually 9 because you got the Scuttle Crab down there at the same time. He is just absolutely loving his life in this early jungle for Inspired, for FlyQuest, up 1,000 gold. Bwipo back up here in top lane. Does have the tier purchase now. Still holding on to the teleport because he got the wave crashed all the way in, so he was able to cheat that recall and start stacking that tier towards the Fimbulwinter that all of the top lane Skarners generally go for right now. Licorice, I know you and I were talking backstage before the series about the differences in building the Fimbulwinter entirely just as a straight rush versus delaying it. Tell chat your thoughts on just general Skarner lane itemization.
I mean, I personally don't like it. I know Bwipo is someone who went for it his last Skarner game, so I do expect him to just be rushing the completed tier item, the Fimbulwinter, this game. I find that having just like more stats in armor or MR, like this game it would be armor, is just more effective, but I know it's something a lot of players go for, and it does have a really high win rate. So, yeah, we'll just see how it goes this game.
Yeah, and it's so easy for Skarner to proc it, and the extra mana definitely helping so. We'll see how Bwipo is able to do it. I mean, honestly, with them getting the early kills on bottom side, I think it greatly accelerates how this team wants to play with them having so much turret destruction power. I mean, getting an early lead and then having Inspired just full clear and end up on the bottom side to reassert their pressure and go for the little bit of an invade and deep wards here with Busio to support him is right on track with the FlyQuest game plan.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of pressure here. Like, Zyra's in the bot side, NRG's scared of getting dove, so Karthus is coming down. And instead, they're just going to push out the wave. They're going to go to grubs and start stacking those 6 grubs for the Ziggs Tristana later in the game.
Ooh, flash out from Palafox here in mid lane, immediately losing that summoner spell after he had also just used his teleport to return to lane after doing his first purchase. So FlyQuest making sure that he's not feeling great about his current state.
Yeah, one of the biggest things about getting your bot lane ahead, that's great. You unlock your support to get free time to roam as well. And then your support like ganks for you like a little Pokemon going towards mid and getting the extra flash there. And you mentioned it early as well, Licorice, but the grubs were going to be a priority for this team, FlyQuest. They're very happy to trade this dragon for grubs. Inspired was on grubs first. They're the ones that chose to go topside, grab that. So the turret destruction becomes turret evaporation
First, Drake is also just a Chemtech Drake, not generally going to be considered one of those super high priority ones. So FlyQuest loving the way things are going here. 1.7 thousand gold lead 7 minutes into the game is a pretty nasty situation for NRG to find themselves in. You can see some very slight farm advantages pretty much across the board for the FlyQuest side here. Not even a full wave anywhere in particular, so it's not like they're incredibly worried about it, but it is showing that everything's perfectly fine here in the state of the lanes as Palafox tries to get a little bit of value here out of the Soul Unbound as he gets the wave to crash into the turret of Quad. Contractz trying to make sure that he doesn't get caught here, but he might be in some trouble. Has to flash away. The Ignite is on him, but it shouldn't kill him? I don't think. Yep. Okay.
The Wolves might, but...
the Wolves are going to finish what Ignite started.
He respects the Wolves. He does. He heals off the Wolves. He gets the little one, and he's going to go back for the big one.
Yeah, and you see Inspired's just in the top side taking away his camps. This is going to feel really bad once he walks in there and finds out. He'll probably also get chunked on the way in here.
Oh, meanwhile, Palafox versus Quad back in mid. That 1v1's not going the way of FlyQuest. Karthus ulti coming down. The Requiem sounds off, and it's going to be Huhi's Ornn putting Quad 6 feet deep in the river.
We already finally here get to see some of the power of the ultimates and the super long range coming through. Quad just gets run over by the train there, the combo. Coming from Huhi and Contractz with both ults being able to kill these carries, and that was the whole goal. Remember, with the construction of this team composition.
Yeah, I mean, this is the power of their team comp in action. Although if I'm Contractz here, I'm going to be a little upset because I didn't even get an assist on that one.
Just wasting
no,
the ulti.
wait, it didn't even touch in time?
Yeah, it didn't get there. The Ornn ran him over, and now Inspired's about to get run over by the Dawning Shadow. Palafox gets the credit, but it looks like it'll at least be a trade 1-for-1 as both junglers drop dead.
Yeah, I mean, that always really hurts because if you're running Dark Harvest too, so...
Yeah, no, you really want the ultimate stacks and the Dark Harvest stacks. But honestly, this game is not looking too bad for NRG here. I know their bot lane is behind, but I mean Ziggs is just he's gonna wave clear the wave no matter what. And their win condition is definitely online. Palafox looks like he's doing really well in this lane, and it's only gonna get harder for Quad as the game goes on.
Palafox with his double buffs as well. Yone can be such a difficult champion to deal with in so many situations, and that's just going to make it even more of a problem. As you can see, NRG, they've once again got Contractz down here on the bottom side of the map. Busio on that Leona, level 6. Still doesn't have the cooldown back up for the Solar Flare, but once it's available, I expect to see FlyQuest be looking to make more plays around this. I said how much I like the fact that they went for this pick during the draft, and I'm liking the way that they've used it here so far. He has 100% kill participation.
Yeah, no, I think the next thing that's going to be really interesting to see is the grubs are coming up in a minute, and there's a lot of pressure on NRG because giving 6 grubs to this team comp is really hard. But I don't know if the Ziggs and Leona are there, it's going to be really, really hard for them to fight. So this might be where the game either breaks open or I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, Contractz still is not going to have flash from the last time that they engaged on him. And Huhi there, no flash as well. So looks like they're keeping their bottom lane bottom for now. Okay. Oh.
Just chilling.
Yeah, looks like they're going to move up. I mean, if you're NRG, you definitely, if you can, you want to contest these grubs. So I think I'm expecting them to at least poke around and see what they can do. But Busio's already found a really nice flank angle in the enemy jungle. And lots of vision, so they'll see them coming for sure.
Feeling good about that one. The other big thing that I'm looking at here, Huhi has the first fully completed major item of the game in the Hollow Radiance that just got purchased for his Ornn. Could be a difference maker here if this fight turns into something truly chaotic. Inspired and Busio just going to hang out behind Bwipo here as he tries to get this wave shoved up. The Skarner and Cassante, both level 9, both having the flash, both having the ulti. Dhokla doesn't have a lot of mana to work with, but it really doesn't matter once he goes all out. NRG going to start up the grubs, and it looks like FlyQuest is nowhere nearby to challenge for him.
Yeah, they were pinging pretty early on there for a bottom lane for Massu to just go for tower. So they decided to pay just with turret plates here and see how many turret plates they can get.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get the whole tower here. His W is going to be online in a second, so that's a full bot tower for grubs, which I think, honestly, I'd be happy with on either side of this team.
Ooh. Maybe not. Teleport from Huhi. Okay, the turret will fall, but can Huhi get the punish here? There's not really anything in the tank for Massu. The out-of-mana Ziggs isn't a whole lot of a threat. Gonna get clapped around a little bit here. The Requiem summoned up, and Contractz, he's getting his stack for that one.
Yeah, no, I'm sure if Huhi took that one, he would have been really upset. So Huhi looked like he was being really careful there with the spells and the autos. But yeah, no, I mean, this game state actually looks really good for NRG. Like, the top lane is going well. Dhokla actually has a bit of a CS lead, even though he's down a little bit of gold. And, like, once they transition into, like, the Yone in the side lane, I think that they will actually have the advantage in like, being able to run this game.
Might be hard to defend a dragon with their tower gone here, though, so maybe FlyQuest, as they try and take over the jungle, can get a better setup, but looks like we have the full reset coming from NRG, heading right back down mid lane, so the choice is theirs.
I like the decision there from Massu. He knows he's not going to be able to hit the Yone because he's so fast and soul unbound, so just immediately blast the wave and force him to recall back to his corporeal form anyway, as Dhokla wanted to go for a recall there. One of the nice things about Skarner, the rework compared to the old one, there's a lot of nice things, but one of them is the amount of game states and situations that you can interact with compared to the old one. Old Skarner doesn't really get to stop people's recalls or do anything other than pull. New Skarner could throw a rock at you, he could use his W. There's so many ways that you can just be obnoxious with this champion now, and we'll see Bwipo trying to take a recall there, but now it's Contractz and FBI. The 3v1 underneath the turret. Bwipo does not have a lot of mana to work with.
Busio's on the way, so they can't stay too long here for the energy side. Yeah, it looks like they're going to back off.
Yeah, no, they were just trying to get something in exchange for the dragon that they were giving up here, and, you know, Skarner just took an auto, took no damage, and is now TPing back, so.
So we got our answer to the question that we were asking earlier, which is how is Bwipo going to play this in terms of the itemization, and it looks like it's just the early tier, then into the Sunfire Cape for the extra laning power. I know this item has received some nerfs, not necessarily the same tier that it might have used to have been, but it's still going to be hopefully effective for him to be able to continue to trade into this Cassante, who does have his Iceborne Gauntlet now completed too.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of this build from Bwipo. It just gives him a lot more early power where, like, when you finish the tier item and it's not even fully stacked and you don't have the passive, it just feels like you have this really weak period of the game where even though you're playing this, like, really strong S tier, S stands for Skarner champion.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
That you're not actually that strong when your tier item isn't finished. So really like this build, and it looks like FlyQuest might be looking for a pick on Palafox bot lane.
Yeah, Palafox really wanting to shove this wave all the way up. Quad's going to show here first. Palafox is level 11, Quad only level 10. Oh, Fate Sealed is not going to get him over the wall because Quad jumps in the way to cut the distance short. Now Busio's ready for the lockup, and Palafox is ready for the beatdown. It's Quad getting his second kill of the game.
Yeah, nice interception there from Quad. He knows exactly what Palafox is going for on the escape route. Jumps in, gets the kill. Is going to be at the cost of topside objective in Rift Herald here, but honestly, to keep that Tristana split pushing on bottom side, just shove all the way up to secondary tower here. And FlyQuest also getting access to the Ziggs in mid lane. This tower's going down quickly too. That one's going to explode. The double demolitionists are doing their jobs.
That's so dirty, man. With Ziggs and Tristana on the same team, the turrets are just absolute paper. Nice for FlyQuest getting themselves up to a 2,000 gold lead now. And the early neutral objectives, I feel like in a lot of games of League of Legends, you see one side prioritize one side prioritizes the other. This time around, it is the perfect handshake. One Drake for one Drake, 3 grubs for 3 grubs. No real discernible advantages to be found there. FlyQuest with the +1 on the kills, but a lot of that gold that they have in terms of the advantages is just exactly those 2 turrets, right?
Yeah. And I do actually really like how FlyQuest is playing this game out. Like, it feels like their answer to the Karthus Senna side lane pressure is that they have Ziggs, and he just wave clears mid alone, and then the rest of the team just plays around the side laner. So it's like, yeah, you have Karthus and Senna ult coming in, but Leona's there, and so is Zyra.
Bwipo using the Ishtal impact to bring Dhokla a little bit closer to his side of the rift. As Quad shows up here with a TP, Dokla's ready to stand and fight. He goes all out. The Skarner ulti's not going to work because Dhokla went unstoppable. Contractz ends up taking the kill, and Dokla's still fighting. Bwipo needs a little bit more. Dhokla tries to get away. The rock will not connect. Bwipo tries to catch up. He needs a little bit more damage. He finds the slow here with a W1. More rock will get it done, and there it is. Bwipo makes it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, I mean, a really good play from Dhokla to call for the ult and to turn that around. Little jump scare there.
I didn't know he still had that.
We've always got our little pocket flowers ready to go for any Skarner play.
Rift Herald gets its second charge off of the tier 2 turret down here in bottom lane as NRG tries to continue pushing, make up some of this gold difference. Same time, Bwipo's going to grab the tier 1 up in top, and the presence of Busio down here to be the frontliner makes it enough so they can't get the tier 2 on NRG's side here as the trade.
I do want to see like a Locket at some point come out for the side for FlyQuest here to try and help with so much of this, you know, long range damage from NRG. With Karthus and Senna and even Ornn super long range on the ultimate becoming so popular, like Locket really does go a pretty long way in especially dealing with the Karthus ult.
Well, talking about items that are going to go a long way, worth pointing out that tier is now fully stacked on Bwipo, so the Fimbulwinter completed. This thing is going to provide so much shielding in fights. Like, the spammable nature of that shield is going to give him a lot of extra durability. For a champion that's already difficult to burst down, things just went from difficult to even more difficult for NRG in any of these fights that Bwipo is able to be a part of. And you can see both of our top laners and one additional player on each side. There's so many teleports in this game, I had to take an extra second to track them. Palafox, Massu, and both top laners having those ultis ready to go. Bwipo goes in for the flash, locks him up, beats him down. Impact ready to go back in. Tried to say Ishtal's Impact. I said Impact instead. He's not in this game. Sorry about that. we got Palafox taken out. Bwipo's the one taking him down. That Skarner is ferocious here in the 1v1. FBI flashing away from the Stranglethorns has inspired, threatened a lethal situation for him too. You got 10 seconds next on the Drake. FBI already had to flash away. Palafox is still dead for another 20. This is a FlyQuest bot side river control situation.
Yeah, Bwipo's still pushing up there, so they're getting wins all over the place here with setting up on Dragon. Bwipo takes half of the tower by himself and cruises on out through the mountains there. Looks like we got a little bit of a check though. NRG teleporting in.
All right, NRG's not willing to let this one go. Ornn flies out. Not really going to find a whole lot. Inspired gets knocked up, but there's nobody there to follow it up with anything else.
Palafox
NRG
TP'd in bot lane.
They got the four-man play. Yeah, Palafox is coming around from the side. There's a 5v4 here for NRG. They will successfully push FlyQuest away from this third Drake of the game, but the trade at the same time is the tier 2 turret up in the top lane.
Yeah, what do you think of that call to use both teleports to go for Dragon number 2 here and give up that secondary tower? Because those things, it's 800 gold for your team.
It's a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm personally not a fan. I mean, Bwipo is going to be really strong right now in the game. And I think, like, if I'm him, I'm just saying, like, anywhere I am, I'm unkillable, and just we win every fight. And I think if it was, like, third Dragon... Hold up a sec, we got to fight in bot lane.
Oh, yeah, Dhokla going in for the all-out. Quad jumping back away. The Requiem, they wanted to hit him with a Dawning Shadow there. I think if Dawning Shadow hits, Quad dies. I'm not 100% sure because it looks like the HP would have been pretty close. But if that would have connected, I think he still could have been zeroed out there. So Bwipo shows up at least to try to protect him. Contractz level 12 here on the Karthus. The same situation as Inspired Zyra. You can see the EXP bars actually at the exact same spot too. I was talking about the high tempo jungling from both of these picks, and it seems that that's what we're getting here. 19.5 minutes into the game, only 30 seconds until Baron's live on the map. Dhokla jumping in, stunning Bwipo up underneath this turret a little bit, making him soak so much damage from the turret shots. Both these guys pretty low, but Dhokla's comfortable underneath his own tower.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier about the tier 2 tower, I think, like, if it was third Dragon, like you're threatening Soul, or if it's Soul, obviously, then I think it's a good trade, but it's just investing a lot of resources. And the other, like, FlyQuest is going to come up tempo. They did end up getting Bwipo's TP right after, which is going to make the game feel a lot better with that, with the play bot lane from Dhokla. But I think still not a trade I would want to go for.
Yeah, it's just the investment of both teleports when you're a team that like wants to be able to split push and play the map and use these long range ults does seem like a very hefty cost. But we also saw the Ziggs and Skarner combo. We didn't talk about that one a lot, but that long-range ultimate also, that enabled Bwipo to get that kill. Like, holding him in place with the Skarner ultimate for the Ziggs bomb travel time was pretty sick, too.
Yeah, normally I don't think about Ziggs as, like, the same level as Karthus ult, where it just, like, falls on top of you. But when you Skarner ult and just drag him into the middle, then there's not much you can do about it. So I'm really enjoying and liking this Ziggs pick a lot more as the game goes on.
Yeah, it was the alley-oop dunk there. Bwipo set up Massu for the easy one. We'll take another look though too, because they have an easy time pushing out all waves. Bwipo on bottom side already was able to push out and then move up through the jungle. So I like this collapse from FlyQuest. They send all their resources now towards Baron. They even invested an ult for an attempt at a pick.
Yeah, that ulti was a little audacious, a little aspirational for the distance that he was from his opponent. Generally, he got to have a little bit better of an angle or maybe some setup for that one.
You miss every Skarner ult you don't take.
You miss some of the ones you do as well. So that's not really what they wanted. NRG's going to be happy with it, though, but they do have to commit the flash from the Karthus. to escape that Mega Inferno bomb. And NRG have lost control over their own topside jungle. FlyQuest knows that they've got this gold lead. They know that they're in control. And as long as there's not a turret or something to have to fight under, they're ready and confident to take these fights against NRG in open ground. So I guess the question I have for you guys is, what's the play if you're NRG here? 4,000 gold at 21 minutes is a pretty serious problem.
Yeah, I mean, they really just have to try to find some kind of pick in the side lane here. Like, it's going to be a play from Dhokla or Palafox where they find an angle on Quad or Bwipo. Or they just start the Baron.
Or we force Baron instead. Okay, NRG has answered my question themselves. They're saying it's going to be a Baron fight, and that's the name of the game. Huhi summoning up the Ornn. Shoots it back, but he ain't going to find much. Inspire with the flash away from the Fate Seal, keeping himself alive. His Contractz is going to be killed here at the very start by Quad. First kill of the fight. It's 1-0 for Fly. Now they're going to be the ones moving right back into the Baron pit. Baron reset, but only partially. Busio at half HP over the wall, looking to try to zone these guys away. Remember, there is no smite for NRG. Contractz dead for the next 25 seconds. Dhokla still got most of his health bar. He's looking for an angle to get in here and try to fight these guys, but Bwipo's got the E-stall impact to push him right back out. Busio continuing to just try to zone Palafox away from any sort of participation in this conflict. Baron's down to about 2,500. Dawning Shadow ain't gonna do nothing. They're trying to go in. Huhi wants to try to steal it away, but it ain't gonna work because Inspired has secured the Baron for FlyQuest. The Baron gambit from NRG, it was risky, and the risk gets punished.
I hate to say it, but this summer, 2024, are we seeing the creation of a new meme, a new NRG Baron meme? Because they have been rough. We're going to still see Dhokla.
Ooh, he goes all out between two turrets. That is not the ideal landing spot for Cassante.
That was right in between both, so you get both turret shots the whole time, dude. 4 turret shots
in like 2 seconds. Yeah.
No, that looks really cool. Like,
actually, he pinpointed that sucker.
Like, it would be hard to do that on purpose, you know?
Right in the middle. Honestly, though, one of the first things I was thinking, as you were talking about them starting up the Baron, Contractz had almost no mana. The Karthus had like 70 mana when they started it. And so if you watch the replay, you'll see him use like 2 more Qs on the Baron, and then he's actually out of mana when the enemy team comes. And so he just kind of goes up to the front to die there, and they lose out another one. But it has been rough as far as the Barons go so far this summer for NRG. In the first series that they had, obviously, they were deciding whether to turn or burn, and then this one was also kind of in a very high pressured situation where it did not look that great.
And now with the Baron being taken, they've lost total control of the Rift, so that earlier play that they made on the Drake just doesn't pay out at all. Here's another look at what went down in the fight. Meanwhile, back in live, we got another fight breaking out as the Fate sealed into the Ornn onto Inspired. Stranglethorns on himself to try to stay alive through the dive. Palafox gets back away, and the Requiem completes what they were looking for. Bwipo's ready to come in through the wall here. Goes after Dhokla, but he ain't gonna find much. Mega Inferno Bomb. Half kills FBI with just the damage. 3-man pull coming out from Bwipo. There's your impale from all 3 tails. A triple kill over to Massu on the Ziggs.
All right, FlyQuest are coming for the rest of the base. Here we go. Bwipo's going to lead the charge. Towers don't even scratch him.
He's just here to protect the minion waves. He's the bodyguard. The minion waves are the VIP. Just get him all the way in. Now he's going to be able to use his own teleport to rejoin the team. Remember that Massu on this Ziggs still has the satchel charge for pushing towards these Nexus turrets. It's still another 10 seconds before anybody else on NRG respawns. FlyQuest keeping the push alive. As soon as this wave arrives to the turrets, that's when I expect to see the Bwipo TP. And yep, there it is. There's your first Nexus turret already gone. More on to the second. There's the satchel charge taking it out. Now FlyQuest trying to get themselves back away. Bwipo here on the front line might get caught out a little bit, but the Skarner is so damn tanky. 2-man solar flare as Palafox tries to find some damage, but it ain't gonna work. Quad has already gone on a killing spree, and FBI just got knocked out. Massu going unstoppable, showing who's got the better long-range mage ulti, as Dhokla will not kill anybody in the back line. Palafox with a soul unbound doing everything he can, but it just ain't enough. Another triple over from Massu, 16-5. FlyQuest crushes game 1.
FlyQuest are undefeated with new Skarner.
Yes.
Yep. I don't think we'll be seeing Skarner in the next game.
They may not be undefeated in series, but they are undefeated with Skarner. That is for sure.
And what Bwipo said came true, right? I was talking about how he mentioned, sometimes teams just let it through because whatever reason, then the game goes exactly how you would expect it to go. and then they're going to have to ban it after that. But hey, it was a strong game one for FlyQuest here against NRG, and now we're going to have to go and see what the rest of the series will look like. But a reminder for everybody at home, next week the LCS is going to be on Thursday and Friday, not Saturday and Sunday. It's been on Saturday and Sunday last week and this week, but next week it's Thursday and Friday. Now you know, and it's time to listen to Fly and NRG reading some mean tweets about themselves.
Dhokla was the worst top laner in the league in Spring Split, and Palafox was bottom tier in Spring. People are claiming NRG's issue were that they had bad coordination, but I think their solo laners were extremely lackluster. Contractz is MVP with a better team last split. Come here. Who's saying that?
I mean, I would say that generally if a team is not performing well as a team, the individuals tend to look worse.
True, true.
And I think our solo laners are great.
Yeah. We're playing a team game, guys. So, it's a team mistake, not anyone's own mistake.
Not sure FlyQuest will adapt to the meta. Can Inspired play AP junglers well? Can Busio not feed on engaged supports? And can Bwipo play GP without staring at his ultimate? The last one, I just want to go ahead and say you are clueless. As for Inspired, I mean, he's definitely played a lot of AP junglers over his career, so I also think he is a bit clueless on that one. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think he might know what's up with Alan. I think he might have cooked there. What do you think?
I'm playing an engaged support, of course I'm feeding. That's how you play the character, guys.
FlyQuest being the villain is great for the league. NRG is not going to Worlds and finishes 5th. Top half of the map gap incoming. Well, thank you that you think we're going to finish 5th after today. So really appreciate the compliment, but we are trying our best to get to Worlds and win the split again. But we'll take a 5th too. We were 6th last split, so we'll take it. Thank you. Well, I think that players on FlyQuest, there's only one or two villains. I think their bot lane rookies are actually quite humble and respectful people. As for the org itself, some of their decisions are a bit questionable, but I think it's a good thing too, yeah. No one likes them, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with the fact that like being the villains is great for the league. I mean, in general, I think it's important that there's some stakes outside of the regular stakes. So honestly, based Michael Buck at Sketch 2622, I agree with you. It's a conscious thing for me, like trying to be a bit mean and like making sure that there's some more stakes. And then NRG is not going to World, based finishes 5th.
And true.
Very generous. Very generous.
There he is. Right there.
Cover more ground in the Kia Sportage Turbo Hybrid. Kia, movement that inspires.
Red Bull gives you wings.
They were